Let's try to see Linux file system and its structure. So we call it FSS. So that is a file system standard which was proposed in 1994. As we have written over here, the basic ideology was subdirectories and subdirectories to be present. As we have said, even in Unix, the slash represents the root. Other than that, we have several other directories to come into. Bin, which was used for keeping exe files, then library for library files, boot for bootable options, dev for development things. Further, going with several other options to work with, we also have home directory in Linux, which will basically deal with the registered user or the guest user. In every user, you'll have your own bin, lib, and local folders which can allow you to operate. So that's basically a file structure, or rather directory structure. Let's discuss as what we have said. Root directory. As what we have said, root directory, which is similar to a disk operating system, it's a main directory from where things would start. Bin is a binary which keeps the executable. Boot keeps the bootable needed info. That means from where to boot and how exactly. There were the special files which are device files. So basically all devices would be under dev file. etc contains malicious files which includes your documentation files and other things which you require to operate. So when you log in, this is just a credential which we have shown how to go with it. So login name, dummy or encrypted password, user ID. User ID will include user info, home directory and login shell. These are the command to operate with it. One of the example is :x followed by. So here we have devis, which is a login name. X means dummy password. So this can be encrypted. 134 is a user ID given to that user, which is from the range of 0 to 65535. Going further, 105 is group ID given, which belongs to, that means Davis belongs to one of the group, and Davis has a user info, usually user's full name, but that was made a short for the representation front. It would have its own home directory and will also have a shell in which he can work. So that's basically the file structure which we're going to work with. Apart from that, you have a home, library, lost and found. Home contains the home directory for every user, consisting that detail and need commands and tools. The library function consists essential libraries. Lost and found can be used for all the files which are connected to any directory, basically targeting the link file or symbolic links to work with. Linux file access privilege. Linux is a multi-user system. The files all are stored in a single file structure. That means the structure we have just declared earlier with a slash and a username and other thing needs to be maintained properly. User can impose access permission to each file to restrict its access. The normal access is read access, write access, and executable access, which user can define or user can request. As you can see, this is a running command which we have used. Different file has a different options. R is for read, W is for write. So accordingly, wherever we see, I'll just go back one slide. We said read only, write only, and executable. So as you can see, there are certain read, write, certain executable, and options can be seen. Consider when you have hard link, that means a direct path. D is the directory. In this command, D is the directory. Directory can read, write, and execute. That is R, W, and X. X stands for executable. Further, the directory can be read and executed, but not written by other user. Thanks to this. The next RX. The directory can be read and executed but not written by other user in the group. So first is for the user, second is for the others, other user in a group, and then remaining would be other groups. So going further, we have option owner, who is the owner of that particular file, owner of the group, when file was last modified, and what type of file. Name is this. So auto start is the name. So basically in one command we are targeting everything, right from your own access, how others can access, how group can access, who is the owner, and finally to come across the last modified details. So this is how we are keeping file information.